Violence, a lot of character development. I play a character that was written for a man, which is really fun. I play a cult leader who guides young, innocent children to their death.
Dope.
It's dope. It's so fun.
Did the role change any, you not being a man, or?
Yeah. I think I play it as a true believer. I love the children dearly. I also hung out with teenagers for the first time in a long time. Maybe hung out with teenagers recently,
And aren't they terrifying?
I was like, oh, I remember what this feels like.
Yeah, you have this opinion, I don't think anyone would actually murder each other in the Purge, and you'd be teenagers, and you're like, oh wait.
Yeah. I remember being 16. It was the worst period of my life. It sucked.
How were your approach for this?
How's what?
How were your approach for this?
How's I approached? I auditioned, man. Yeah, I auditioned. I think they were auditioning men for a really long time. I auditioned on a Thursday, got the call on a Friday, was on a plane on Monday.
When does the series take place in terms of the Purge timeline? Because we just got the prequel, basically the first Purge.
Yeah.
We've also gone through several Purges.
Yeah, so this is 10 years after the first Purge. And it's sometime in the future, right? It's 2024 or something. But it feels very much like a modern America. Like a modern America almost now. I mean, I won't get into politics. Aren't we kind of close? We're
getting there.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Is this in a different region or any kind of thing that makes it different from the films?
No, it has the flavor of the films. Actually, it feels it. I mean, I think the TV series might be a little less didactic, or not. It's really the social commentary is there, but it's less of it. Just because there's so much more time to get to know the characters, so there's not really any archetypes. It's people. A good leader tab is the closest to an archetype.
Can you tell us about your character dynamics with some of the other people on the show?
I can tell you that I love my children. I love them dearly. I can tell you that it's in 2018 that women get to play somebody this driven and not sexualized at all. I mean, I could have gained 50 pounds for this role. Nobody would have ever noticed. I'm head to gear in a robe. It's just fun. It's a strong person.
Since it's all in one night, is the show going to be set up more like an anthology type, or is it something where the characters?
They don't know. I mean, it might be an anthology, or the characters might come back next season. We'll see how it does. They're not telling me enough. Also, I don't even know really what happens to me yet.
Yeah, what episode are you shooting now?
They're shooting 6. Yeah.
So you're getting scripts as they come out. I did the set visit, so I know a little bit, but you're getting the scripts as they come out.
As they come out. 2 weeks before
So
they come
have you
out.
had your specific episode where we learn about the backstory of your character yet, or is that still yet to come?
Yeah, that was given to me in a character breakdown when I auditioned, and then I did shoot something where we go into that. I think I can tell you if you guys want to know.
Yes.
Sure.
I play a girl who was a woman, not a girl, who was a counselor, a drug rehab counselor for kids who are in trouble. And it's there in that setting. I don't know if anybody's ever spent any time in AA meetings, but it's in that setting where people are really vulnerable. I was an Al-Anon kid, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm an alcoholic.
Oh, there you go.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, I've related to you.
Yeah, there we go. Personal connection.
But it was in that very vulnerable setting that I meet these kids, and they come under my wing.
Now, is your character motivation, you said, was as a true believer? Is there anybody that, is it a cult kind of thing, where it's you and you have some other people around you that are out recruiting these kids?
As somebody who is the true believer, I would never describe it as a cult, but I think that's what everybody else describes it as. And no, it's me and the kids. I mean, I am the good leader. I am the leader, which is great because it's a woman. They cast a gentle woman.
Now, have any like any kind of like training, like physical training for this role that you had to undertake? Or are you maybe like you're not really like involved in like I don't know like
Are you like, are there stunts?
yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like yeah, like what kind of, is it like it's not an action heavy role, but do you have like some action you take part in?
There was a point a couple episodes in where I got a giant bruise. So I'll just tease that. And also filming it, I was like, but yeah, I mean, I get in there. I mean, I think the cool thing about the character is I'm willing to die. So just somebody who's that passionate and willing to die, it's just a fun place to go.
So, in that full body get up and in a bus, filming in a bus in New Orleans, how did you not die?
How did I not die? I mean, I was willing to die, right? Yeah, man.
So in your audition, are you willing to die?
Are you willing to like sweat out all of your body weight? Yeah, I mean, there was air conditioning on the bus. Yeah, New Orleans is brutal in the summer. And when did I get there? I got there in like April. Is it April or May? It's all a big. You're like, I don't know. I don't live your life. Yeah, there was the children had it worse than me because I had so much dialogue that I had people with like little fans and stuff, which you get as an actor.
So the Purge, who knows, it could exist. If it existed, would you partake?
I mean, you want my like answer I've been giving? I'll say, yeah, all my ex-boyfriends, but no, I probably couldn't kill anybody. I mean, though on Purge night, you don't have to just kill. You can it can be like mayhem. So I think I'd be curious about adrenaline. I'd probably go out.
I find the thing flawed slightly. Like if you stole your neighbor's car on Purge night, you stole it. The next day, neighbor's like, "What the fuck, dude? I have a title."
Right. Yeah. I think that's right. I think you can't take something. I think you can be anonymous, and I think everyone's in those crazy masks because they're anonymous, right? So.
Have you been over to Purge City to pick up any
yes.
supplies?
I mean, I was in Purge City for like hours. LA Times followed me around Purge City, and I was like, "This is forever." This is the candle I would use on Purge night. Like, buy the candle. Ran out of things to say really quickly.
Are there any murders in the show that you were like, hadn't thought about killing someone that way?
Yes.
But that's dope.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There's I think the coolest element about the show actually is how creative the gangs are that run around.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I don't know who the fuck these people are that may come up with the concepts, but it's like, like a woman pushing another dead woman in a shopping cart with like her. What was it? She was like themed as like a dead vacuum cleaner or something. There was like a piñata man, right? There's a piñata, and he's killed that way.
Wow, that's great. It's kind of like the Warriors on meth.
Yeah.
There we go.
There's the bloody nuns, which are pretty terrifying. They were super scary. Yeah.
So, is it going to be a really bloody show in terms of the actual on-screen violence?
Yeah. What I've seen of the pilot, there's actually not that much. There's not really gore, but I do think it was pretty successful with suspense. Did you guys see Hereditary?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I really liked Hereditary. I thought it was great. But and towards like the middle end of that movie, I was like crawling out of my seat, and the movie theater started laughing, which was really helpful. I feel like it was like that for me. It was like suspenseful.
And I don't know.
I think it was successful in creating me wanting to crawl out of my skin without necessarily seeing any gore. I don't know. I think it works. I think horror fans will really like it. See? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Great.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, so what are we doing?
We're talking all things Purge.
Okay, good.
What can you tell us about the new series?
Or your character in the new movie?
He's a producer, sir.
Well,
I'm in the film,
Yes.
so
He's the money guy.
yeah.
I am not the money guy. I want,
He's
if
the
you learn
creative
nothing
guy.
else from this, I have nothing to do with the money of the television show, honestly. The show is different from the movie, obviously. There's a much longer time to get to know these characters. That allows us the ability to kind of see how the purge affects their life before the purge happens and how it affects their life going into the purge, and the questions they ask themselves and if they want to participate in the purge is kind of a key component to the television show. Whereas in the movie, it feels like Lex's character is thrust into this horrible, horrible situation where she's trying to do the right thing, and all around her there's hell, and she's the moral fiber of the movie to maintain some optimism in a very negative world. Right? Okay. I'd love to talk about the movie.
Actually, I want to ask about you because the movie is very, very political, very tuned into the times. I just wanted to know, when you were making it, did you feel that energy at all, or how did you bring out that sort of commentary on what we're going through?
Definitely feel it. It's right there in your face. I mean, you've seen the film, so there's images depicted. There are costumes and masks that are worn that say a lot without saying anything at all. And I guess a combination of James' awesome writing plus Gerard Perry, who directed it and kind of helped, I guess, creatively put it together. I think just looking at it as a script before going into production, you could definitely feel it, but it came to life when we were really there filming it.
So this, I'm sorry. This series takes place 10 years after. Will we see you? I'm assuming you survived.
She was unavailable to do the show.
Oh, okay.
She was making the movie.
I was making the movie. No, but it's 10 years later, so, and I believe some of the characters had family members who died during my purge.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
it's not, I don't think we'll see the same actors again just because of the time difference. And just like the rest of the franchise, you see new faces just about every film.
I was thinking like posters on the wall because you're
Yeah, I mean, hey, the people in the room to tell that too are here. You gotta nudge them and try to give you.
I know that Lee's character had a little bit at the end of the first Purge. He's going to be a character in the Purge show. So, I mean, are you talking more about that, about any relations between the film and the show?
You know, honestly, I mean, I'd love to tell you that I know the answer to that. I don't know. Tom over there, who's the showrunner and all that, I have no idea what the plan is, going forward. I mean, we have to see how the first season does.
And actually, that you're speaking of the teaser at the end of the credits. The cast, when we first saw it, we didn't even know that was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were like, oh, that's awesome, because we're all fans of the franchise too. So we know the show, of course, but in terms of the teaser and bringing that on and that character, I actually haven't. We didn't know about.
So in terms of franchising, we're looking at this as a product. You have the fourth Purge movie. Now, are you approaching the TV show as kind of the fifth installment in the franchise? Not as like a movie, but the fifth property in the franchise? Or are you looking to make a fifth Purge movie and you're going to do that separately? How's that all working?
My answer might be different from my other partners, Blum and DeMonico, but at the end of the day, I would want to keep them separate. I would want to keep the movies going. I think that the two lead characters in the most recent Purge are incredibly likable, and as a viewer and a fan of the franchise, I would want to see what happened to them after this Purge happened. So I would definitely want to do I'd want to do a fifth Purge and see where that goes. And in terms of the television show, again, it's very easy to talk about a franchise when there have been four of them and there's some success behind it. For the television show, we don't know if anyone's going to tune in or not. I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful that they do. I mean, I think I've seen half the episodes because we're cutting them now, and it's different. It's super interesting to see how it affects people's lives. But again, it's not as violent as the movies are, and there is a part of that violence that people really kind of respond to. And as a company that predominantly makes horror movies, we love that part of movie making and making those types of films. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Just the idea of going to TV. There's so many stories to tell. We need another format to do it, or was it just out of necessity because there's a demand for the studio that came to you?
I think it was DeMonico's. He's just a fantastic storyteller, and he's been living with this for so long. And the stories that we tell in the television show, I'm not sure they'd work in a movie. It's just it feels different. The movie just feels to me always driving, and the pacing is a little bit slower and a little bit more methodical. So I think James just had stories in his head that he wasn't able to fit into the movie, and he and Blum, we all started talking, and this kind of came out of it. I knew that the USA, I knew that Comcast as a company was eager to keep on expanding this universe, and so, but they wouldn't have done it if DeMonico didn't have what we thought were very interesting ways to go with it.
Will you be seeing what life is like on non-Purge nights? Because we don't really get to that in the movie.
We don't have time. We don't have time, and I'm interested in what that is. In the television show, you do see some of that. You do. It's not. The show predominantly takes place on Purge night, but in order to understand the situations that all of our characters are in, you kind of have to see what their life was before that. So the television show, that's what you get with the show. You have the time to kind of show that and really get to feel what these people are.
So given the fact that the show is less violent, well, not less violent, but less gory in the movies.
It's not as grisly. There's
Not as
just,
grisly
yes.
as the movies. Was there anything that you saw in the episodes you've seen of the show that kind of inspired you, like, oh, that is an interesting way to show that you think would be useful for the future movies?
Yes. Did you see an episode? Do you know something?
I did the set visit, and I watched.
Was it on the? Were they filming something in front of a bus?
In front of a bus? No. Okay. So I don't know about that.
You know what? It's interesting you say that, because I watched. There is a scene where someone is getting hacked to death on the TV show, and it's really done in a, dare I say, artistic way, because there's not meat flying everywhere. It's kind of in silhouette. It's really coolly done, and I don't know if that would work in a movie. I don't know if it would work in the movie, but it certainly works in a TV show.
So you're saying that scene wasn't done by hacks?
Good. You said it, not me. Oh, yes. You said it, not me, but that's good. I set you up for
So how does the pacing work throughout the episodes? Since normally you have a film that is covering one evening, and now you're spread across 10 episodes?
Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, are we thinking of something that's like 24 style, or like every episode?
No, it's not really 24 style.
Change?
I mean, I don't want to say that it's soapy, because that would be the wrong way to characterize it. But what it is it's a group of characters who have nothing to do with each other, who are all have an agenda on that night, and you learn where that agenda came from, and you wonder whether or not they're going to execute what they want to execute. And it's not all of them wanting to kill someone. Some of them want to keep someone from getting killed, and some of them do have they want to kill someone. So, and it's the first time that they've ever felt that way, and the Purge has allowed them to do that. So, and what toll does that take on your soul and your conscience? And so that's all addressed in the television show.
Is there a possibility of going to, we asked this earlier, I might have asked if it's going to be like an anthology series, or if the characters will continue assuming it gets picked up by Sci-Fi for another season?
I don't know, because none of us, we're all superstitious, and no one's going to talk about what would happen after until after happens. So we don't talk about sequels of anything. I personally will not talk about sequels of anything that I've done until it's already happened, because that just feels wrong.
Because I'm really hoping there's the next Purge movie, there's no Frank Grillo.
You can never get enough Frank Grillo. Really. You can't. He's amazing. Yeah, me too. Listen, Grillo, but Grillo's a huge star now. I mean, he's hard to get. He's really hard to get. Although DeMonico just did a movie with him, that is not a Purge movie. A different type of movie DeMonico just did with him. But Frank was really good for the franchise. He really was.
I really enjoyed the latest Purge.
Thank you.
A friend of mine said for him it was the best one because the story was more complete than we've gotten in the other three movies. And now we're getting this whole here's why it started, how it started,
Yeah.
and even though we know some of that violence because of the third movie that's racially directed and class directed, it still made it really interesting, intense story to watch. These
You know-
people that don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
The thing that's interesting is that Gerard stepped into some very big shoes because DeMonico had directed the first three, and he came in and made his own movie that still fits into what DeMonico did, and that was not an easy feat.
I have a fun question
Go
as
ahead.
someone that's on the back end of this. So one of the rules of the Purge is that you can't use explosives, which I'm guessing is because that would cost a lot of money, but also, because that would just screw with the lore. When you're like setting up, like in the third Purge movie, there's like helicopters and shit. Like, is there a part of the writer room where you're like, okay, this is okay to use in the Purge, but like they can't be shooting missiles, but they can be using miniguns. Like,
Here's the thing. I think that, first of all, there is no writer's room. It's James DeMonico's study in his house in Staten Island. So that's where that happens. And whatever DeMonico decides the rules are, we all just nod yes. I mean, honestly, whatever he thinks, and I've never asked him why he said that about. You're probably right, because the first one we made for $2.5 million, where you couldn't have done any explosives in that one. So I imagine that's right. But is DeMonico coming around? Are you sitting down with him?
he's on the list.
Okay, good.
Good.
Just sit down with him.
I think they're getting ready to whisk you away.
Real quickly before they do, what's your next project?
Can't say right now. I know.
Keep asking
I'm
that
like,
question.
I'm superstitious. I don't talk about it until it's out for everyone to know about.
That's cool.
The first Purge 2.
Speaking into existence, definitely want to see Nia Charms again.
So we're wrapped now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. The third table, and then you're done with the table.
So I know that you're going to have questions.